Today's episode and today's topic is brought to you by Ask Reddit. User says, if you could create a new law that applies to the entire world, what would it be? All right. This one's easy. Mandatory domestication classes. We can replace some of the classes that they give us in middle school, high school, because, I mean, let's be honest, 6th to 7th grade, it doesn't really feel like that much of a change. 7th to 8th doesn't feel like that much of a change. 9th grade, things start to get the ball rolling. But then 9th to 10th grade, you feel like you're repeating the same subjects again and again. So we can replace some of those classes with men. You need to have some apprenticeships under your belt. HVAC because your AC is going to mess up. Maybe some plumbing classes because your toilet is going to mess up. Your washer and dryer are going to mess up when you're out on your own. Whether you're married or not, you're going to move out of the house at one point, and you need to have basic skills of how to manage a household. Now, of course, if you're in upper middle class or upper class, you can just throw some money at it and make the problem go away. But sometimes, realistically, you can't pay that plumber. You can't pay that mechanic. So even just having mandatory classes all around the world where we all need to learn the ins and outs of a washing machine and a dryer, basic plumbing skills, basic electrical skills. You don't need to go through a HVAC class, but something similar to where you don't have to sit here and struggle because you're paying for one fix and you're living paycheck to paycheck. Simple things. I mean, not bare minimum, but bare minimum. There's no need to pay somebody 70, 80 bucks for replacing an air filter. Doing your own oil change should be a mandatory class. You don't need to learn every little piece that is underneath your car's hood, but to have some basic knowledge should be a mandatory thing. And these are just for the guys. We'll get to the girls in a second. I've heard throughout my years women complain about how he just pays the bills and doesn't help around the house. So, who's going to fold your clothes if you're out on your own? You're still going to have to learn that regardless. So we're going to teach you how to fold clothes. We're going to teach you how to put away those clothes. We're going to teach you how to strive for a better future and be hungry about your money because you need that money. But we're also going to teach you to mow the lawn. We're also going to teach you to clean the pool. I vividly remember my mom and dad both throwing down, both financially, but also my mom with a weed whacker in her hands, my dad pushing the lawnmower, and vice versa. These people really cared about each other and they instilled it into their kids. I also have vivid memory of them doing it, but then also telling us, hey, look, your mom isn't just here to, fold your clothes and clean up your rooms and wipe your butt for the rest of your life. So you're gonna have to help her out too. You start sweeping, you start mopping, you do the dishes. There was 3 of us. So we seen them lead by example. So it was nice to grow up in a household like that. Granted, they had their faults. Every parent does. But stuff like that is, I believe, where the government, rather the law that I'm proposing, should step in and make sure that not only are you doing this as a parent, but we are taking it upon ourselves to make this mandatory, make sure your son and or daughter are learning basic life skills. These are valuables. So you need to learn these values because it's going to benefit everybody. The dating game, I'm sure, is hard. You got to find somebody who's going to help you financially, but also around the house with the kids. If you're a wife, if you're a woman, you are looking for that man to financially be secure, but you also don't want to take the brunt of 100% of responsibility of maintaining that household, because I've heard this all before. I heard that, yeah, man, it's cool that he pays all the bills, but God damn, this man don't do nothing when he gets home. He just takes off his shoes and sits on the couch and expects me to bring him a beer, rub his feet, suck his... Anyways, you already know where I'm getting at. The dating game is going to be a lot easier if we all learn that everybody has to pitch in. Both of us can pitch in financially. And when your person is out of commission, or like I said, if you're out on your own, who's going to make your food? Are you going to DoorDash all the time? Do you have DoorDash all the time money? Probably not. What I was also thinking is, what's going to happen when your wife is sick and out of commission? Who's going to make her that soup to make her feel better? Who's, if you have kids, who's going to throw down in the kitchen when she's lying in bed because she got flu, COVID, or whatever? You're going to have to throw down. You're going to have to step in that kitchen and figure something out, my dude. She's sick, man. You got to be there for your family. You got to be there for her. Ain't nothing sweeter than taking care of your spouse, man. Beautiful, beautiful feeling. Ladies, let's now put the direction and focus on you. There's teenagers right now that do not know how to use a microwave. I can tell you right now, if I'm doing rice and chicken, it's probably a minute and 30, minute 25. If I'm doing a soup, that same minute 30, probably only going to heat up the bowl itself and that top layer of the soup itself. So maybe throw it in for 3 minutes. That should have everything hot from the bowl to the very, very bottom layer of that soup. Moving past the microwave, there's some of you guys right now who don't know how to cook. That's not a jab at you. We're not making fun of you. That's just realistically, you're in your 20s going into your 30s, or in your 30s, and you never actually learn how to cook. With things like YouTube right now, how do you not? There's plenty of time in the day to learn. It's never too late. You can pick up this quality right now. But if I had a rule or law that was enacted, we would all be learning this, men and women, in the same class. And because we've all learned it in the same class, well, guess what? That brings up your value as well as a woman. Right now, I can tell you the way things are in life. If you do not learn how to cook or don't know how to cook, men are looking at you a type of way. They're looking at you like, okay, so essentially you just want me to pay all the bills, maybe help you out with the chores, so you feel like I'm not just doing nothing, but you're not doing anything. So what am I wasting my time with you? I'd rather find somebody who can do the cooking and the cleaning and all that. But again, in this ideal hypothetical world with this law, everything gets a lot easier because now we all know how to balance a budget, boil an egg, tax literacy. We have to focus on credit health as well. But if we're all on the same page, it becomes way easier to find a partner. It becomes way easier to have those life skills for independent living if you just want to be single for the rest of your life. But the fact still stands. The faster we get on board with this law, the better life will be for all of us, because we will all have gone through the same education system. And it's going to be something that it's going to benefit us because we're actually going to use this. Not everybody is using the same stuff that we learn now in school. In fact, there's memes floating around and even conversations we used to have back in the day where it was like, protractors. Have you ever used a protractor outside of a high school? Probably not, unless you were taking some type of college major that involved math. These classes, at least, you will be using this on a daily basis, a weekly basis. So why not just enact something where we can all benefit because we're all going to be using this for the rest of our lives anyways? That's literally a mandatory thing. We all need this, every single one of us.